women of Sci-Fi panel at LA Comic-Con. Woo! This is the beautiful Michele Specht ×2, Dr. McKenna. This is the amazing character that she plays on Star Trek Continues. If you haven't checked it out, do check it out. You can watch it online on Vimeo, YouTube. It's amazing. It has a huge fan following.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, Al.
Pretty good.
Yeah, you look amazing. Wait, and weren't you cosplaying yesterday as Dr. McKenna in a different state?
Yeah, she was fighting Vespers.
As you do.
Yeah! Right before I died. Yeah.
Here we have, guys, the beautiful
Spoiler alert.
Mandy Amano at the end next to the screen. Say hello, Mandy. Would you like to introduce yourself, beautiful girl?
Sure. Hi, my name's Mandy. I'm so excited to be here. Thanks for having me. And what would you like to know in terms of...
What's the meaning to life?
I'm still looking for that. Isn't that why we like sci-fi stuff? It sort of tries to answer those questions. I don't know. I've been a lifelong sci-fi fan. I grew up on E.T. and Star Wars and Willow.
Shut up. Don't even start. I was just searching for Willow. Do you know you can't find it? It's not on any of my streaming devices. You can't even know. I'm telling you. Has anyone looked for Willow recently? I just did. Like 2 days ago. And I can't find it anywhere. I'm so bummed out. Willow, you idiot. Anybody else remember that movie? Yes. All right. Just out of myself again.
The anniversary Blu-ray just came out, so you might want to get that because it has lots of special features and it's amazing.
The Blu-ray? All right, done.
Yeah.
And in the middle here we have the beautiful Nakia Burrise.
What's happening?
Okay. Hi, I'm Nakia. That's it.
Nakia.
I celebrated my birthday last Sunday. I'm a year younger.
Yay!
Only happens to me.
You're Benjamin Button.
Yes. You're going to see me leave and then come back.
It's also a magic show.
It's a magic show. Because there's another panel happening downstairs with some of my ranger folks. So they asked me to be a part of that for like the last 10 minutes, and then I'm going to come back here. So you're going to see me floating in the air.
Then Michele, do you want to do an official intro?
Oh,
drum roll.
Yeah, my name's Michele Specht. I'm a big sci-fi weirdo. I'm in some stuff. I watch a lot more of it, and I'm so excited. And every time that we do this and come here, we get like some new faces and some familiar faces. And we were at Long Beach
then your
Comic-Con,
face,
and then my face appearing here in cosplay, which is incredible. So. Gosh, I just want to talk about anything and everything you guys want to talk about. Let's do it.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, thank you. Has anyone here, like, by a show of hands, been to any of the other Women of Sci-Fi panels we've done before?
And how amazing were they? You just keep coming back for more.
Oh, how exciting! That's so cool.
You look
Thank you.
amazing.
I know you. Hi. Hi.
Also, we've all actually today bought some clips, and Jed's downloaded some cool clips from Reel and fun stuff like that.
Kidding.
This is my baby daddy over there.
That's right. What week are we in? What week are we in?
I'm 1 month off, so you could have another little girl on the panel soon. If we could make it through, who knows? It could end up being 5 of us. So my name is Gigi. I play Chiana on Farscape, and I'm the host of Jim Henson's Creature Shop Challenge. And I know all these girls through pretty much Comic-Cons, and I've worked on Star Trek Continues with beautiful Michele before, and I'm just absolutely delighted to be here on this beautiful Sunday with you all, so thanks for having us. Before we kick off, I should also say we're so appreciative of you guys. We wouldn't exist unless it was for you, you know, your love and support and your energy. Watching us and helping us live our dreams is absolutely, we're so thankful. So thank you so much for coming today as well. So, bravo! So, I'm trying to scoot over, but I'm a little bit full of child. And McDonald's. So Nakia, let's kick off with you because we've all bought a bit of a sizzle reel and we wanted to show you guys some stuff that we've worked on, and then that will kick off some questions as well. So Jed Bear, can we start off with Nakia's bits and please?
We do the drama.
Pieces, please. Drama. A little bit of drama for Sunday morning, ladies and gentlemen.
I lied. I'm sorry.
It's not a date.
Not drama.
Not
drama.
Can we do that one? So
Oh, wait.
this is that okay?
Yes. Do you want to introduce the?
Yes. So this is what I'm going to be running downstairs for. I am co-producer of a graphic novel series, which is a prequel to a movie that we're doing next year called The Order. And yay! I heard a woo. Woo, woo. So this here is a sizzle reel, a trailer that encompasses the graphic novel and part of the movie. Play it.
The Order: Icarus Rising, the thrilling graphic novel prequel to the upcoming action-packed film, The Order.
Hostage is priority one.
We're gonna fight back.
Now, order has been lost. The fight for power increases. Chaos is formed.
Again, this novel does not replace the Order movie, so slow your roll.
Yeah.
Wow. So there's about 15 former Power Rangers in that movie, but obviously we're not playing Power Rangers, it's not a kid's show. And Gigi is actually in it as well. Yeah. He's going to be a part of it as well.
It's
With or sans child?
It's yes, hopefully yes. After the little one has after. Because the fight sequences that we got taught are, and I'm not joking, guys, the best. I've worked in the industry since I was 12. I'm now 40, and these fight sequences are a million times more expertise and fabulous than what I've ever done through Farscape, through working with the SciFi channel. Like the stunt coordinator worked on Star Wars, yes, and also we have the
director worked on Star Wars. He was second unit. He did all the action and the Wanted, and you can look him up. His name is Nick Gilliard.
Nick Gilliard. And the fight sequences are huge, and it's so fun to be a girl kicking bottom, to put it politely, you know. So what's the plan with the Order?
So just so you guys know that we, Karen Ashley and David Fielding, who were also in there. Karen Ashley played the Yellow Ranger before me, and David Fielding, if you're familiar with Power Rangers, played Zordon. They wrote the Order. I came in as a producer because I believed in the project. We were due to film last year, and we had some issues with the union. So we lost half of our budget. And so, to make a long story short, because I'm going to make it short, the prequel, the money that we make from the prequel is feeding back into the budget of the Order. And we're filming next year, regardless. So I do have the graphic novel at my table. It's only $20, and just know that it would go to a good cause. So if you're interested, we have 2 variant covers. Actually, we have another that's coming out next month, but we are revealing 2 of them right now. And I just love your support, darlings.
And this is why comic conventions are so great for all of us, because you get to meet us as real people and see that, we're normal and that we love telling...
Some of us are normal.
Some of us are normal. We love telling stories, and we are here to, make amazing, beautiful productions. And the last few productions I've actually been involved with have been people that I've met through the Comic-Con community. So never be afraid if you have an idea or a script or a crazy dream to approach a writer or an actress or anything like that.
Well, right now we're going to be filming it in Los Angeles. That's where we were. We were 1 week away from filming. I think you were here last time when I told the whole story. We were 1 week away from filming, and there were some unfounded things that happened with our own actors union, and again, it ended up taking a large, and we lost a lot of money because we had already paid for location, we had already paid for things, and they don't refund you. So we had to stop production. But with whatever budget we have, and from the sales of the graphic novel and what was ever left, we're going to be filming next year.
And you guys will be blown away. It is amazing.
Yeah.
So let's see the drama reel, yes?
Oh.
You're along?
Well, we could
Well,
see
because
someone
we-
else. Yeah, we
we
can
have
come
a
back to me.
goes by that I don't.
But I'm gonna...
Yeah, but I'll be back.
Okay, so
Someone else, someone else.
Okay, all right, cool. So now we do have a bit of Michelle's reel that I got a sneak peek.
Okay.
Michelle.
Here's the deal, guys. I didn't even prepare anything.
Oh,
I was
yeah,
gonna
yeah,
put together
yeah.
some of my Star Trek Online stuff, because that's playing now, and maybe even like a quick reel of Star Trek Continues. Maybe that's, well, whatever. But I didn't prepare anything, so they were like,
Other than this monologue.
where's your thumb drive? I'm like, dude, I just showed up. Like, I'm just pleased as punch. I actually made it here, and I bathed. That's kind of where we are. So Jen was like, oh, I'm going to download something off your website. I'm like, okay. So here's a reel. You want to watch it? We can.
Yeah.
Sure. Play it.
Not now, sweetheart.
Kim and Evan. Dory Bloom. We went to junior high together, remember?
How are you doing, Dory?
Okay, I guess. I just moved back into town not too long ago. Back at home, which does wonders for the old social life. I'm going through the big D.
Detox.
Divorce. But I'm helping my folks out here while I get back on my feet.
Well, you look great.
Oh, thanks. Look at you two, still together after all these years. You know, if anyone was gonna make it...
You don't say.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you two were so in love with each other. Everyone knew it. I guess some people really can make it work for the long haul, huh? My problem? You're ripping my style. That's my problem.
What? Your name, sweetheart. Scarlett? Hello? They call me Red. Right? You're ripping my style.
Red, Scarlet is my name.
Well, that's stupid.
You're stupid. At least Scarlet is a name. Red's just a color.
Oh, Red is so a name. It's short for Red Becca.
You just made that up.
Would you just shoot him, please?
Rudy, I found one of your teeth underneath the pinball machine.
Keep it, Carlotta. It'll give you something to remember me by.
Oh, I'll keep it under that weird flap of skin on the back of my neck.
Are so thoroughly enjoying each other's campaign event.
How would you two categorize your relationship?
I'm so sorry, honey. Water just got away from me. Here, have a towel. Turn that off! When I was a child, I was always starved for affection. Sure, my mom and dad tried to buy me off with dolls and princess phones and private schools, but the way that I wanted. But when I become a mom, I am going to smother my kids with affection. They will know that their mommy loves them if I have to strap them to my bosom, because then the hugs will never stop. Nope, it's just gonna be hugs and hugs and hugs and hugs and hugs and hugs and hugs every single minute of every single day.
Amazing!
And then I'm on a Star Trek show and I do some video games
Yeah.
and voiceover. So there you go. But that's really, anyway. So that had no sci-fi in it whatsoever. And in sci-fi, it's such a, you know, when you do Star Trek, especially original series Star Trek, it has such, I mean, I don't know. Anyone here watch the original series or remember the original? Okay. You know, it had this kind of heightened theatricality to it. Like, people would make fun of it. They said it was so over-dramatized. No, it's just, especially during that period, those were all theater-trained actors that were then doing television and film. So there's this heightened level of reality, right? There's a lot of but I love that about it. Like, I love that it's reality on crack. Like, I love that everything is just pushed to the extreme. The colors, the story storylines, the emotions, the drama of it. So even though it's kind of funny to say that, yeah, Star Trek is the most serious thing I've ever done. It really is. I came from a very comedic background. So, but I love that. I love that element of Star Trek, especially original series, having that kind of like, it's on 11. It's not at a 10. It's at like an 11 on everything. So anyway, thanks guys. You're silly.
Mandy, let's see some of your beautiful work, shall we? Have a little chat about it.
Which one do you want to do first?
Let's do the trailer first.
Destroying the enchanted realm. The evil queen has captured Princess Kyoko, but a mysterious warrior has miraculously rescued the princess from the queen's impenetrable fortress. Now, the perilous journey home begins.
Pray we don't get caught.
That is currently in development from creator of Worlds, visionary filmmaker Stephen Louis. And basically it's the story of this, rogue warrior who's given up on war and fighting, and then he's called back into action to save this princess. And he has to save the realm along with the princess and a tribe of kind of misfit buddies that come together and save the realm from the evil moon goddess. So,
do you get to fight it all?
A little bit. This princess is strong in more a spiritual way. She's sort of, she's just the strength behind. She's like the inspiration. So she's strong in more, kind of banding the troops together and more that sort of thing.
Gotcha.
But I did get my hand on a knife.
How long was the shoot? How long did you guys do?
The shoot was about 2 weeks.
Nice.
16 days.
Did you guys film in LA or?
Yeah, we shot in LA. We shot in St. Angeles Crest.
Yeah.
I was going to say there's trees in LA.
I know, that was the locations and the music.
The
And
entry
the
scores
edit
crest.
were really,
Upgrade the
yes, yes. And it was actually right before the, part of the shoot was right before the fires started. And one of our locations, just like, what was it, like 2 weeks after we shot?
Just
It was,
disappeared.
it was completely
Wow.
annihilated by the fire.
So when was this? When was it shot?
When was that? Like 4 years ago? 3 years ago.
It's beautiful.
3 years ago.
And the prosthetics and the costumes, who did that? They look
It
amazing.
was just stunning.
Yeah, Steve, this is Steve, I remember you right here.
Star Trek connection to Rob Berman did the.
Yeah, Rob Berman, he and his brother won an Oscar for the first Star Trek film with JJ. He did the effects makeup.
Beautiful.
And such a sweet guy. Like, he actually, his legacy, like his great-grandfather worked on Wizard of Oz. And he hadn't come to set in several years. He kind of creates the creature makeup and then sends a crew to be on set.
That's amazing.
And this was the first project in years that he actually wanted to be on set.
Wow.
And it was outside in the harsh conditions, and it was like really cool that he was there every day.
So what's the plan with it? Have you had success in making like a full-length feature, or what's
Well, basically right now we just finished our festival run at 120 awards festivals, and right now we're looking into putting it online. Like, there's so many options now. With that, so we're trying to figure out the best way to get it up online, and Steve's just started pitching it just recently. He has the feature script ready. There's a visual Bible. His background is art, is design. So he's created all the costumes and the creatures from scratch. And
The world is fully fleshed out.
yes, completely fleshed out. If you go to the website sundevilfilm.com, you can see some of his drawings there. And this is actually a story that he came up with in college. It was his thesis film at Rhode Island School of Design, and he did a stop motion version as his thesis film, and he won the Student Academy Award for it.
That's
So there's a nice history that we hope to keep continuing with this story. So.
That's great. Shall we have a peek at your sizzle reel?
Sure.
Action, Jackson!
Yes, I love action.
How good is it being a girl and kicking butt?
Oh, it's the best.
It's every time on Farscape as well, when they gave Chiano a gun, I'm like, just let me fight with my hands. And it was one of the shows that I was lucky enough that they actually trained you up in kickboxing, and they actually allowed you to do most of your stunts. And then, some of the stunts were ridiculous, where they blow you up. I'm like, okay, the stunt girl can do that one, yes. But what's been your most exciting project that you've ever worked on?
I did a feature film with Harvey Keitel, and it was shot in Los Angeles, and we shot it at what is the manor? It's down, oh gosh, it's right on the tip of my tongue, and I'm looking at it. The entire sequence was in 1940s, 50s Momster. It was the very first little thing when I was like, hiya, Tony! And he's like, not now, sweetheart. It was that movie. It was called The Last Godfather, and it was all period costumes and period pieces, and we shot at the Doheny Mansion. Isn't that right? So it's all Art Deco. I mean, it was, and I would be in these period costumes where I had to be sewn into them. We couldn't damage them, so I'd have to be stitched in and then cut out of every day. Because they were all incredibly delicate, so I literally had this team like dressing me into them. And then my character's name was Roxy, and she would literally say things like, "Hiya, Tony! Oh my God!" Like things. That's all I did. And I held martinis, and I reacted, and then had like yeah. So basically, she was a complete. She ran a bar. She was ridiculous. But anyway, so I would say, and doing that with Harvey Keitel was.
Were you nervous?
I was so nervous. The first morning we were in the makeup trailer, which is my favorite place to be, by the way. I love being in the makeup trailer. I'd stay there hours every day. Just, yes, play with me, that's fine. And he came in, and I knew my call was a half hour before him, so he came in, and it was just the two of us in the makeup trailer. And I am such a nerd, you guys. Even now, whenever we appear at Comic-Cons, especially for Star Trek, I get invited to appear at Comic-Cons, like kind of all over the world. I deserve an Oscar for the way I act in the green room. The fact that I can carry myself as a normal person around, like, who in my mind are big time stars and celebrities, I deserve a freaking Oscar because people don't know how insane I am on the inside. So, being in the makeup, yeah, ow, being in the makeup trailer and Harvey Keitel, so I'm like, hey, oh yes, hello, Mr. Keitel. So nice to meet you. Yeah, I'll be with you for about 16 days, I think, on the shoot. Yeah. Are you all right? It's a little early, I know. You feeling okay? Can I get you a coffee? I'm sure. And inside I'm like, Harvey Keitel! And I'm like that all the time. So my best acting is when I don't give away that I'm literally insane.
We had a Stan Lee moment actually at this Comic-Con a couple of years ago, and I've seen him at many different conventions, and he always has a troupe around him, you know. And I've seen him on the plane and all that kind of stuff, but, you know, I always respect him. And even though I've been a guest at a few of his conventions. So we had we actually performed the night before, I believe, at the Comic-Con after party. And so I was exhausted and zonked, and, you know, and we snuck into the loading dock, and hopefully our car's not being towed right now. And the same thing happened a couple of years ago. We snuck into the loading dock, and because my boyfriend sneaks in everywhere, because he's so inconspicuous, he's so tiny. So we get in there, and sure enough, he's like, babe, Stan Lee. And Stan was walking out with his manager, or his main minder at the time. That's all. Not a big troupe, and I've never seen that. He's like,
He was
like, no, babe.
He was coming out of the trash doors, like where the trash goes. And then out of the trash comes Stan Lee. Babe. They just came out of the trash.
I'm like, no, babe, be cool. Like, I'm a guest. We have to act professional. He's like, we're going to say hi. So he drags me over there and like shoves me in front of him. What do you do, babe?
He talked to us. He was cool. He talked to us for like 5-10 minutes. Just me, you, Stan.
And then Jed's like, photo! And just shoves his camera in his face, and he's like, you want a photo? Like this, and he's like, so we got a photo, and then he said, what did he say?
I can't remember.
He goes,
he's like, it's a beautiful lady like you doing. What are you doing with this guy?
Call me Stan, call me. Anyway, but the point of that story is that we all are just as big of fans as you guys, I think. So we're so lucky to be dressing up and playing make-believe and living in this amazing, magical world with you guys.
Let's watch yours, and then we can talk to everybody here.
Can we do Nexus, babe?
Yeah,
sure.
Watch this.
The Nexus technology could save countries billions.
What's this on parallel universes?
That's the next phase, sir. How many times have I told you not to go in there? Nexus. So I got here this morning, just jumped through the portal.
Yeah.
So that was at a Indiegogo that we did, and actually it was funny because we actually found out that we'd raised the funds the day that I arrived on set, the night before I was going on set with you guys.
So I was in Kingsland, Georgia, and got the note from the director / producer saying, we've come up with the funds, we can make the little short. I'm like, yay! So that was really exciting, and it was good because actually I was super nervous going on to Star Trek Continues. One, because these guys are hardcore Star Trek fans. I'm like, oh, I haven't watched nearly enough Star Trek episodes to be up to the fandom of which I am not worthy. And it was so exciting. Have you guys all seen Star Trek Continues?
Anybody?
Oh man.
Yeah? Hi.
Such a cool set.
Where my nerds at?
Yeah. And they have so much fun on set too. Like, it's crazy. Like, the blooper reel has to be, oh, do we have that?
Oh, it's on the...
Is it online?
YouTube. Oh, they're all on.
Can we watch that?
It's amazing we get anything.
Star Trek Continues bloopers. I'll give you a second, babe, and we'll talk amongst ourselves about that. Oh my...
You cuss so much.
I'm the only one that gets beat down. I'm like, I must be the Australian convict in me. I don't know. But have you got any good audition stories, man?
Oh, gosh. My life is like flashing through my eyes. I did have an audition. You mean like a horror story?
Either.
Oh.
What would you guys like to hear?
Questions we have.
Yeah, and feel free to throw questions as well, guys. You're very welcome.
I had an audition for a really big film, and it was one of those where you're like, oh, this is perfect for me. Like, I'm so excited. I get really prepared, and I go in, and the casting director is like, she's seeing other people like bigger names leaving the room, and then it's my turn, and she brings her dog in. It's like super hyper, making a ton of noise, and I was like, oh,
while you're doing your audition?
Yes.
Oh.
And I love dogs, but it's also like an audition, and it's an emotional scene.
You're like, shut the hell up, dog.
I was like, oh, who's this? And she goes, oh, this is Fifi, whatever the hell her name was. And then she's like, well, just pray he doesn't make noise.
What?
Yeah. Yay. Welcome back. Thank you. So yeah, so that was it. And I got to pick out of 3 scenes, I got to pick which scene I did. And apparently I was the first one who had picked that scene, and she hadn't even read it yet, so she kept reading my line.
Oh no.
And so I kept trying to keep going, and then she was like, oh, I'm sorry. So that was the disaster.
I had an audition with Luke Perry, and I was like fangirling out so hard because when I was in photography class in school, people were like, and that was when you actually did the chemical, that was old school. Like, remember when we used to have those kind of cameras, and people were doing pictures of their family, and I was just like 90210 all the way, like Luke, and what was the other guy's name? And then I got to sit next to Ian and Steve, the guy that plays Steve as well. So anyway, I did the audition with good old Luke Perry, and I'm like, surely he's not going to be in there because it's the first round. And he was there, and I'm like, oh my God. And I don't even know what happened. It was an out-of-body experience. But I do remember that he kept mucking up the lines, and I couldn't correct him because he's the director, producer, star, but at the same time I'm like, get it together. I'm trying to read this scene with you, but it's an awkward thing when that happens.
Yeah.
Did you get the role?
No. Probably because I was drooling out the side of my mouth. Sorry, babe. It was before our time, my love. Now can we watch the drama reel?
Oh, sure.
Well, we're going to watch the blooper reel.
Oh, okay. Bloopers first.
If you haven't seen the show, it's not going to make a lot of sense, but hopefully you can just get home.
More like a controlled shockwave directed at the Enterprise.
That was stronger than the last
Ow! Wow. Sorry.
She broke the shit.
Back. Go.
I moved too far forward. I'm sorry. Okay, we go.
Working double shifts, are we down to Chicago?
Sounds like somebody really wants some stripes.
Hey, screw you guys!
What's that box, Sean?
A bunch of alpha inducer arms.
3, 2, 1, doors.
That was my first day on set too.
Did you shoot anybody yet?
Don't tell me how to do my job. Do you want the engines fixed or no? The engines?
Back to and fire.
We don't normally do that. I put a little extra in. You like that, Uzdi?
If you want the engines fixed or no? The engines are expendable. You're gonna have to pay for that.
And firing. No, please stop. Throw her off.
I thought we were doing a minute of firing.
Well, not a minute, just for a few seconds.
How did you, what? 60 seconds is different than... Okay.
He didn't mean a literal minute. He meant just...
Because I'm like, well, if they're gonna run, I guess if they're gonna put an effect in, okay.
Caustic smart.
All decks, intruder alert. Repeat, we have an intruder on board.
Drexler, do something!
Wow, that was like... 2, then you're fine. 1, 3, 2,
Security is sick bay! Spot!
He's dead, Jim. Oh, that's my line. You can't lock him up.
He asked for it. It's my ship. I decided the punishment for insubordination.
The punishment?
48-AA, take 4.
3, 2, 1, boom!
Sorry.
Captain, I'd like to see this. Swipe right. Swipe right.
Do you have a name?
Of course, I don't like that they're going to come after their shots. Go back. Clear the bridge yet?
Oh, sorry, wrong hand. She didn't let go. She was like, no, you're wrong.
Now, how about that drink you poured yourselves?
Yeah. Let's do it.
Let's do that last.
It's been a long day.
Damn it, Doctor! What makes you think you can barge into my sick bay like you own it?
Listen to me. The only thing that matters, the only thing, is that I get advance tickets to the Force Awakens. Do it! Captain, I ate all of the crustaceans. I was sipping those.
The Usti was delicious. Oh my God! I can't forget, not in no way.
Let's go for it.
Bum, bum, bum.
Here we go.
Can't forget.
Let's try some of the beautiful.
Think I'll never be the same again.
I didn't do it.
Damn it! It's your fault. It's not my fault. It's hers.
Game over, man. He's even been keeping up with current events. We just got our ass kicked.
And action.
I'm feeling fabulous.
Meteor 4. How did you get anything done? That was like an hour of bloopers. This is amazing. I never.
I don't know how we had anything accomplished.
And the best thing is, like, there was the most fun set to work on, and you guys kind of took over the whole of Kingsland, Georgia, really, didn't you?
Yeah, we built, those sets are the original down to the inch of the original series soundstage. Like down to the inch. So if you want to know what it was like on the Desilu original Star Trek soundstage, go to Southern Georgia. They're still standing in a 10,000 square foot facility. They are spot on. It literally, and if you have any kind of that childhood love of Star Trek, what's really great is you can tell the age that people got addicted to Star Trek by the age that they are when they walk on those sets and react the first time. So if they become a 5-year-old, then that's when you fell in love with Star Trek and you were 5. So it's in this Southern Georgia town, and we could never afford that. Being an independently funded production here in Los Angeles, we could never afford having a standing soundstage here. So we went to Southern Georgia. There are amazing tax incentives in Georgia for independent filmmakers, and built everything. It's still there, and we would literally go down and take over this town. And as soon as we get into town, everyone knows, like, all the restaurants are like on watch. Everyone knows, all the hotels know we're gonna be there. And we just go in and took it over 3 times a year, and we'd go in and film episodes.
Because everyone would sort of start work like at 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. you know, in the morning, and then shoot till whenever the day was done. So sometimes it's 7, sometimes it's later, and then you're exhausted because, you know, it's big stuff. And then you think, okay, time to go home, and then everyone's like, let's go to dinner, and like, oh, okay. And then it was just a non-stop, beautiful experience, like very special.
Very unique experience.
Very unique.
That production became a family. So we spent every moment together that we were there. It was like the world's biggest Star Trek camp. It's basically what it was. And then we made a show out of it. That's basically it.
Let's see Nakia, John Maria!
I don't have Star Trek on there, but I did an episode of Star Trek as well, and
you were so good.
Yeah, it was so much fun. It was so much fun.
It's not a day that goes by that I don't think about him. Or about the man who murdered him and still hasn't paid for it. First case I couldn't close. Well, that's why I'm here. Because I think you can close it now. Chris Adams has been diagnosed with cancer. Stage 4. How do you know that? The man killed my son. It's my business to know. They say he has a week to live. Maybe 2. Do you think he'll talk? No. All I know is, if he dies without confessing, the truth about Kevin dies with him. I heard about your brother's murder. And I know you won't stop until you get justice for him. It's the same for me. Please, just talk to him. Thank you.
Just to be clear, the State Department will deny all knowledge of my being here.
Elsie Gardner, you dirty dog.
Hey,
Look at you shopping for lingerie. Is Doug the luckiest guy ever, or what? Barry hasn't touched me in months. Not that I want him to, fat piece of shit. I'm good. Well, you certainly are. You're glowing. What's your secret?
I don't have a secret. I'm just, you know, I'm an open book.
What are you doing in this neighborhood?
I'm sorry?
Well, you don't live anywhere near here. It's awfully far to come.
The sale. They're having 40% off. I have to get Casey so many white shirts, you know, for a Clayton uniform. I'm you and Gold Leaf. How many white shirts? I couldn't resist 40% off.
Clayton Prep. Mm-hmm. Wow. Well, that's big news.
It's not a true thing. I mean, she hasn't even gotten in yet. I'm just jumping the gun because of the sale. But...
Well, I should. She's high, by the way, in this episode.
Bye.
Hi. I made JJ an appointment months ago to get her hair done. It's gonna cost me about $80.
now you want to flatten it with the bulky set of headphones. I think maybe no.
You know what? I'm a hairdresser, so I could do all the kids' hairdos for free, you know.
Oh, that would be wonderful. Oh, it's not just about the hair, right? I mean, the winter formal is something that our kids have looked forward to their entire high school career. Do we really need to change everything to accommodate one kid? I mean, a silent dance, it's just so, it's sad.
April, I'm just curious why you voted against the silent dance.
Because the world doesn't revolve around you.
I'm sorry?
You should be. Oh, and I'm sure Casey's gonna love it at Clayton Craig. I mean, never mind what happens to our girls and their chances at a state title.
Casey, what does she have to do?
Casey is the anchor in our relay. There's no way our girls are gonna qualify without her, but who cares about that, right?
Don't answer that. But whose idea was it to kill him? Was it his or yours?
Unless you're charging her, this interview is over. Daphne, let's go.
It was one time, that's it.
Daphne, don't say
Look,
that.
I'm gonna talk. If I wanna talk, I wanna talk.
Now guys, you've seen little bits and pieces from all of us. Do you guys have questions for the beautiful girls here?
Let's talk sci-fi, yeah. Yes.
In your time in the break between the last season of Farscape and the Peacekeeper Wars, what do you think was the hardest part about knowing, like, are we doing a future showing, or were you just doing different?
It was done. It was, I saw the ship being pulled apart. It was devastating because we'd worked on it for like over 4 or 5 years. And I was like 22 at the time, so it was my very first long-term series. Plus it was a Henson show, plus it was like 16-hour days. The makeup took 3.5 hours every day. So you didn't have any other life other than living on spaceships and connecting with these people. So you really were like a huge, crazy, interconnected universe with each other. And we were told when they were going to pick up season 4, season 5 was a done deal. So everyone had like planned emotionally and financially and got houses and mortgages and cars and goodness knows what and all that stuff as well with that in mind. And then Brian Henson came to set one day and said, oh, we're done. And everyone was in complete shock. And then I went on a signing tour directly after it. And I'd never, because in Australia we're a lot more small town, it's a little baby island, and if you say, oh, the fans, they're like, oh yeah, you're a wanker, what a load of nonsense, because there's like the tall poppy syndrome. As soon as you get up in the spotlight, you've really got to work your bum to get there, and even then they kind of rip you down, gives you a really hard shell. Is a form of affection, I guess. So to be an Australian travelling overseas and having fans come up and going, oh my God, like this is blowing my mind. And it was all the Farscape fans that said, we're going to bring it back. And I went, guys, I don't mean to break your hearts, but it's done. I've seen Rigel packed up into a box and sent back to London to the Creature Shop. It was purely the love and adoration of people that supported it and wrote to SciFi that made the Peacekeeper Wars. So when we do come to you guys, or you guys go, will something come back? It's 100% possible if you keep social media up and keep contacting the networks, and that is how Peacekeeper Wars came about. And I thought it was dead in the water. And even we just went to DragonCon. Brian Henson was there, and he was speaking about a reboot. Like, hurry up, but not too soon. More questions.
Questions? Oh, yes.
How is working a sci-fi show so much different from working anything else that you guys have done?
Good question. He asked, how is working on a sci-fi show different than working on any other traditional job?
Don't answer that.
Yeah? Okay. Having done, Star Trek Continues, and then doing a number of independent productions like Fallout, Nuka Break, and Aperture R&D, which is based on the Portable video game universe. We did a couple series on that. There's a lot more, what do I want to say? Traditional jobs are, I was about to say something that is going to come across as being really awful. It's not that they're less professional by any stretch of the imagination. There is the hard work that is done, and it generally tends to be more specific and even more tightly constructed, because whenever you're working within a sci-fi universe, there are very well-defined constraints, whether it's one that already exists out in the world and in the universe, something like Star Trek or Star Wars, or whether it's a love like you were just showing in your trailer that's been completely down to the last detail created by someone's own imagination and is just being introduced. So in that respect, there's a very specific set of guidelines and kind of a world that you're participating in and you need to fully support. But just being a sci-fi fan myself and having worked on several productions that are sci-fi oriented, there is a level of imagination, there's a level of silliness, there's a level of fun, there's a level of passion that is not conducive to regular work. It's very different going to a CBS, going to the CBS Radford set versus going to a sci-fi set. If you're doing an episodic show, it's going to be a very different feel to it, much more, hello, how are you doing? Yep, I'm here for the week, very nice to meet you, how are you? Yep, you go up on set and you do your thing, you do your job, and you're done. I have found, at least in my experience, anytime you're involved with something that's, and perhaps I'd love to hear your ladies' contribution on it, there's a level of passion, and there's a level of silliness, there's a level of participation, there's a level of enthusiasm, and a level of fun that I think is intrinsic and unique to sci-fi. That would be my contribution.
Mandy?
Yeah, I feel the same way. I also feel like whenever I work on genre stuff, I don't know if it's just because I'm my happiest when I'm doing projects like that, but people do have this sense of play, and their childlike sense of wonder comes out, and so I find you bond more. Yes. With the people, unless that's not their thing. But it's a time when, where being a geek, at one point you might have felt like an outcast. If you're on a set that's something that's geek related, the people that aren't super jazzed to be there, they're the outcasts. Yes. On set. And it's a really, really amazing time, and you forge relationships that I feel like even if you do go spans where you don't talk to each other for a long time, you just have that, when you see each other, it's just like a brother-sisterhood, and it's really magical. It's amazing.
So what's your favourite part of the industry? What got you into it? What's been one of your most exciting, awesome experiences in your career?
I think for me it's the various roles that I've gotten to play. I love creating characters. I love comedy. I really, really love comedy. I love drama too, but I just have this love for comedy that I know you guys didn't see any comedy out there. That's okay. I felt like drama would kind of fit a little bit more with the sci-fi. But I love creating characters, and I feel like I can create just even sillier characters with comedy. But the best part of being an actress is booking the job.
Isn't it though? Isn't it the best feeling? Or walking out of an audition, like, it's so nerve-wracking walking in, and as soon as you walk out, you'll be like, oh, and if you get it or you don't get it, you're like, done. Moving on with life, why can't I just harness that energy when I'm walking into the room?
Right. Because it's such an intimidating, I don't know if, by a raise of hands, are there any aspiring actresses or actors out there who have been inside of an audition room?
Clever people.
Okay. It's a nerve-wracking
terrifying
thing. Yeah, there's some people, I feel, that are at the audition just to try to intimidate you. No, seriously. When I was at my screen test for Power Rangers, it was 3 of us. And no, actually, it was after the screen test. It was the final interview. It was down to 2 of us. The girl that I was going against, for some reason that day, I was like, I'm going in here. Because this was like my 5th audition, so I was like, something gonna happen today. Today, something gonna happen. So I went in there with just like, I prayed, and I was like, Lord, we're gonna do this today. Home chick decided that she wanted to try to intimidate So I remember we were sitting there inside of the lobby, and she was like, yeah, so I've been on the show as a guest star. I know everybody there, and I know Karen Ashley, because Karen was on the show before me. I know Karen and Shiki, you know, they all love me and everything. I just remember, I was like, yay you! Good for you! Good! You want a cookie? I mean, she was really trying to, I like this Nakia a lot. Trying to intimidate, but you get so many things like that inside of auditioning rooms. You get people that want to talk your head off so that you can not be prepared when you walk through the doors. So they want to ask you, so what are you doing today? Da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da. And sometimes I talk just to kind of break that barrier, but then I'm like, okay, I'm going to give you your space so that you can read. But there's so many things that go inside of an audition room. It's not just about the audition, let me tell you that.
Yeah. But I saw a hand come up. There was another question. I want to make sure there was somebody over here.
Might have been a horn. Or an antenna, I think that's what I meant. Because we've got time for a couple more questions if you guys would like.
Did you want to do hashtag?
No, I want to speak to the girls more.
Okay.
Mandy, what's been your favourite job, like your favourite experience in the...
Stunt double and the princess. Yeah. That's like a dream project for me. On top of it being the genre that it is, and you know, being able to be a princess, and you know, I'm half Japanese, and it's been really difficult my entire career to find out which mirrors my real life, where I fit in. I'm always too Asian or not Asian enough, and when I got the pitch sheet for the short film and the drawings, and it specifically said, you know, Asian-ish, half Jap, you know, they didn't. It's not a straight Asian historical. It's a fantasy, and so he wanted to suggest, you know, a samurai type princess, but not be literal. And I was just like, oh my God, I actually fit this part, and I'm not having to change a committee's mind about, no, I can do this, or I fit in. Like, it was such an amazing feeling to be like, I fit here. Yeah, so that's, on a personal level, was life-changing.
It is very challenging because throughout your career you do have lots of no's with every yes that you get. So it's very important to keep a happy perspective about life, really, isn't it? And it doesn't mean that because you didn't get the part, it doesn't mean that you weren't the right person. It's just they could have hired the girl with the brown hair, or the blonde hair, or the girl that's a bit taller or shorter, or whatever, or the relative, or you just never know. So you just keep on keeping on. Did you have a question?
Yes. Given what's happened in Hollywood in the last year and a half, the Me Too movement, etc., and this is called Women of Sci-Fi, have you noticed changes in the industry as far as how you interact with it? And have you felt more empowered as women than perhaps you did 2 or 3 years ago? Has anything really changed for you?
For me, in particular, no, not necessarily. I think I've noticed just being on set that like producers and males are a little bit like, okay, so they're a little bit more, my hands are here.
Huggy.
Yeah, not as huggy, yeah. Yeah.
I think there's been a shift in how a number of women are relating to the industry in and of themselves. Does that make sense? Yes. I don't know policy-wise, I don't know if practice-wise, and I don't know if behavior-wise there has been a major shift, like all the way down on every level. I think it's too soon to tell whether or not any of this attention will actually bring about a behavioral or a shift in our brains, thank you, about any of this. But I do see a shift in the women in and of themselves, how they are standing in their truth, how they can talk about what has happened in the past, and probably a new perspective, like the prism that we're looking through, a prism having multiple sides, has shifted. so that we're seeing the same sorts of situations in a different manner now. Now, whether or not that will actually bring any policy, behavioral, or practice change, I don't know. I really don't know.
That was a great question, though.
Yeah, very good question. But I think there's a lot more, certainly bringing attention to something is always good. It's been, I mean, for God's, I'll be honest with you, I think I'm old, well, yeah, you and I are close. We're of an age that we are not in our...
I'm older than both of them, so I don't know what they're talking about.
So we were,
I'm their elder.
We were in an age where that was just the way it was.
Yes, you didn't, yeah.
I literally lost a manager. I mean, my first manager dumped me because, I mean, there are so many of us that have stories like that. I mean, we all have stories like that because I wouldn't, you know, so like that's just the way it is.
I left the music business.
I don't even want to say the way it was. That still is the way that it is, quite frankly. And it probably will be in some respect for a while. Yeah, go ahead.
Do you have that question?
Yeah, in the last year, have you guys had to change anything like business-wise with social media to keep up with, you know, the younger crowd or with your business or just to keep up with the genre or anything? You know, have you done anything differently?
I think you constantly have to be, you have to hustle, don't you? Like in every which way and form.
You've
like,
got to post a lot.
Yeah, you've got to post a lot, and also singing, dancing, hosting, judging, conventions, creating your own projects, which is why the whole, now that we've all got a device to record on, you know, there's no excuse for us not to tell our stories and not to produce and direct and write our own productions as well. So I think it's very important. I do have a lot of actor friends that go, I don't know why my agent's not calling. I'm never working. Well, make your own work. What do you girls think?
Yeah, I would say the same. I've noticed that people want to see more of you. They're really interested in you.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? There's so much, there's some that I will show of my life, but there's other parts that I won't. Like, there's personal things that I don't think that you need to see the ins and outs of my house and my children, although they're old now, so it don't matter. But I've noticed that I've had, we've got to wrap it up. Okay. Yes, time is up. Thank you guys so much.
Wait, first of all, where can people find you if they want to follow you and, well, not home, but, you know, on social media and fun stuff like that?
Oh, come see us at our tables, will you? We're over, most of us are over by table 2233.
Yes, the GeekFest. Bill, thank you so much for having us. We're here with the GeekFest.
And he is over on the wall very close to us with all the Power Rangers, too. And where are you? You will be. This afternoon.
I'll be there too.
Sure. Yeah, this afternoon. Yeah.
And also social media.
Nakia Burrise, just my first and my last name. 2 R's and 1 S. Everybody messes that up. 2 R's, 1 S. Burrise.
Michele Specht with 1 L. And last name is spelled S-P-E-C-H-T. I'm there on everything. Come find me!
Are you on social media, Mandy?
I'm at Mandy Amano.
Cool, I'm Gigi Edgley. Also, later on this afternoon, 4 o'clock, we've got the GeekFest Film Awards, which is going to be amazing. But come down and see us at booth 2233. We're signing, doing photo ops, and we'd like to chat to you more. Big love. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, if you're here for the SciFi screening, we'll start any second.
Thank you, AV team, for looking after us so well.
Thank you.
Get a picture.
Thank you, Gigi's baby daddy. Yeah, thank you. That was so sweet.
Thank you, baby daddy, aka Jen Lazinski.
Hi, thank you, Jen.
Yeah.
Thank you.